Hello everyone, it's Mr. JKL here for a vintage cube draft. Let's see what we have in our pack. We have a few good options. We have a Karn I kind of like. I'm really between Force of Will and Remand. These cards are both very, very strong. Um, for different reasons. Remand is like a pseudo time walk, allows you to draw a card and send a spell back for another turn. So if your opponent's playing expensive spells, it's quite good. And then Force of Will just allows you to deal with a lot of the unfair stuff going on in the cube. I think I'm going to start out with Force of Will. It's pretty close. Remand might be a little bit better, but I really like having access to Force of Will when sometimes your opponents are just doing super busted things. Now I'm going to take Dack Fayden. It puts us in blue-red, which I do like. Dack Fayden is really, really good against all of the artifacts running around in the cube, and we're passing a Jace, Phantasmal Image. Don't think either of those cards are going to wheel. Blue is super good in the cube. And then like an Exhume is good. Gaia's Cradle is good for the green deck. What would we hope to wheel from this pack? I think the thing that we'd hope to wheel the most would be like Boros Signet. I can't imagine that Jace is wheeling. Maybe Phantasmal Image will wheel, but we'll be happily taking our Dack Fayden. And now we have a choice between Liliana of the Veil, I like a lot. Doesn't go with Dack, but it does go with Force of Will. Burst Lightning is a nice, cheap piece of interaction, which is good. These blue-red decks tend to want some interaction. There's Karn. Karn is just a good card. I think I'm gonna take Azorius Signet. It's a blue Signet. At least one part of it's blue. These decks tend to like want to play white as well for something like Fractured Identity. So I think I'll take the Azorius Signet. Don't really know where I'm putting this Force of Will, but it'll find its way. If there's a will, there's a way for it to somehow get to the 5 slot. We'll take Azorius Signet. Maybe wheel Burst Lightning, maybe not. I have to see. And I think I'm going to take Renin 6 here. The power level of Renin 6 is extremely high. We don't know what colors we are yet. We could easily be splashing green. I guess if this was a Gruul Signet, that would be better. But Renin 6 is just such a high power level card that I think I want to take it here. The other considerations are Embereth Shieldbreaker or Lightning Strike, but I think Renin 6 is enough better than both of them that I'm just going to take a flyer on the Renin 6 and see where that goes. Now we definitely have some spice. I think the right pick actually might be Omnath. And the reason for that is we're already like we already have mana for all 4 of those colors here. Omnath is a super strong card, and now we're definitely going to want to take fetch lands, which work really well with both Renin 6 and Omnath. I actually like Force of Will in a deck like this. You can exile both Omnath and Dack to Force of Will. I'm going to take Omnath here. I don't even know what else I would take. I could take a Braid, and that would be good in just a blue-red deck, but it doesn't even look like we're going down that path. What do we want to take here? There's a Smuggler's Copter, but I don't know how many creatures we're going to have. There's Armageddon, which is just a super strong card in a vacuum. There's Daze. Don't think this is a Daze deck. I don't know how many islands we're actually going to be playing. And there's Devoted Druid, which is just a good mana creature. Not really sure what the pick is here. I think I could see a lot of different things being the correct pick. I kind of like Smuggler's Copter, actually. If I pick up a lot of cheap creatures, Smuggler's Copter is just good. And if I'm playing a lot of colors, Smuggler's Copter can let us filter through some of the bad stuff. So, definitely not sure about that pick, but I'm going to go with the Smuggler's Copter. I like Elspeth Conquers Death a lot. I would take Spirebluff Canal, but it is not a dual land or a fetch land, so it gets a lot less valuable. Especially when you want to be able to fetch the colors that you need. Elspeth Conquers Death is really good with planeswalkers, creatures. It just deals with a lot of things. And if we're going to be playing a lot of different colors, and white is one of those colors, this is the card that I would like to have. Along those same lines, I think I'm going to take Knight of Autumn. Knight of Autumn interacts with our opponent fairly well. and it's cheaper than something like Acidic Slime or Whisperwood. Porcelain Legionnaire, not really gonna take. Don't like Gush in a deck like this, so I think I'm gonna take the Knight of Autumn. And what do we have here? I don't really see this as a Lion's Eye Diamond deck. Containment Priest is a good sideboard card against Reanimator decks. Not a Rakdos Return. The only color I don't want to play is black. These decks tend not to want to play black. It's just one extra color that you don't need, which dissuades me from Assassin's Trophy, which leaves me with a Disenchant. Don't know if I want to play Disenchant or not, but it's not terrible. Stone Coil is good. You can just cast it with any of your colors of mana. I think I'll take the Stone Coil. Arbor Elf is worse because we might. I don't know how many forests we're going to be playing. So I think Stone Coil is actually going to be good here. It works well with Smuggler's Copter. Ooh, I like Green Sun Zenith a lot in this deck. Burst Lightning would be good, but Green Sun Zenith is going to. Right now it fetches Knight of Autumn or Omnath, and paying 5 mana to get an Omnath is good. If we get like one elf, then it's 2 mana for an elf, and the flexibility on that is super strong. So we'll take the Green Sun Zenith. I think I'll take Embereth Shieldbreaker now. It's close between that and Scavenging Ooze. The Ooze is good against Reanimator out of the sideboard. A lot of people play Reanimator. I think I'll take the Shieldbreaker though. Now we'll take Lingering Souls. Lingering Souls can be good in some matchups. Maybe if we play some black. We'll take a Seething Song for the sideboard and a Kasali Pridemage for the sideboard. Gonna start this Shieldbreaker. I guess it's a little better than Disenchant. So maybe it could make the deck. Not sure about that. And so we've got a lot of colors and stuff going on. So we need to pick up Fixing. And I would take Fixing here if not for opening Oko, which is an incredibly strong card. Incredibly credible. Gonna take Oko Thief of Crowns here. We'll find a way to make this mana work. We can be base blue, green, white, red. Yeah, base all the colors. Who knows? Otherwise, probably just have to take Marsh Flats or Golos. If Golos wheels, that would be awesome. Golos is obviously great in this deck, the 4 or 5 color deck. Mana Vault's not as good when all your cards cost colored mana symbols. So Oko's definitely the pick here. Really want to wheel the Golos. Don't imagine it's going to wheel. But one can hope. So no fetch lands here, unfortunately. I think I'm going to take Taiga. We really just need to start picking up the dual lands. Taiga's good. Natural Order is a consideration, but we're not a Natural Order deck. This deck is not a Natural Order deck. And I like Brazen Borrower, but we just need to start taking lands here, and Taiga's a good land to take. Ooh, I like Strip Mine a lot. These decks like to play cards like Oracle of Moldiah, which works really well with Strip Mine. And the other consideration would be like, is it Signet? I wonder if we have to take Is it Signet just because it's so strong as Fixing. No, but Strip Mine and Renin 6 is also a really good combo, and we'll find other ways to get Fixing. I have to take the Strip Mine. Strip Mine's too good. What do I take here? There's a Copperline Gorge as some Fixing, but we just picked up a Taiga, so we have our piece of red-green Fixing. There's a Wheel of Fortune. I don't think this is a Wheel of Fortune deck. Embereth Shieldbreaker is also really good with the Smuggler's Copter, so I do like the Shieldbreaker in the deck right now. We're not a Raphelos deck. We're not a Through the Breach deck. We are a Fire Ice deck for sure. I wonder if that's probably just better than Ponder. It's more flexible and does a lot of things we want to do. Maybe Mirara's Wake will wheel, but or Nahiri I could see being good, but I'm gonna take the Fire Ice for now. Now I feel like I have to take Tropical Island, almost certainly. Need to pick up some fetch lands. I like Daretti a lot, but we need to make our mana better, and that starts with taking a Tropical Island. Search for Tomorrow would also be good. But again, the dual lands are so strong, and so we're just looking to pick up some fetch lands right now. Fire Ice works with Force of Will, which is another cool combo. Gonna take lands over a lot here because the power level of our cards is so strong. So Misty Rainforest has to be the pick. That's incredible for our deck. It fetches Taiga and Tropical Island. It works really well with the Renin 6 and the Omnath. It's super, super good in our deck, and we're taking it over basically nothing. This is not an opposition deck. It's not a Snapcaster deck, really. We have Fire Ice, um, Green Sun Zenith, but it is definitely a Misty Rainforest deck. I like that a lot. And our deck is shaping up to be a sweet one. What do we want? We want a Crucible of Worlds, more fetch lands, Ramunap Excavator, Oracle of Moldiah. These are all cards that we'd really like to play. And then more dual lands, and that would round out an awesome deck. Right now, I'm kind of interested in still playing this Force of Will. Not sure about that yet. We will have to see. Okay, there's a Wandering Fumarole, a Wall of Blossoms. Wall of Blossoms just acting as it says, a wall. Thraben Inspector is good because it crews Smuggler's Copter. There's Manamorphose, which is really good for getting all of our colors. I think I'm going to take the Manamorphose. When you're playing all these colors, just having Manamorphose can give you outs to casting a spell that otherwise you wouldn't be able to cast. Manamorphose into Elspeth Conquers Death or something like that. And Wandering Fumarole is good, but I don't think it's as good as Manamorphose, actually. So we will go there. Are we playing Smuggler's Copter right now? I think we are. Are we playing a Sun Titan, a Spellseeker, gets like a Fire Ice or a sword or a Manamorphose? There's also just Ancient Grudge, which is very good. Is that better than Spellseeker? We already have Embereth Shieldbreaker. Grudge is probably a little bit better, but if we have Embereth Shieldbreaker, I think Spellseeker might be the pick. Right now it just gets Manamorphose and Fire Ice. I'm going to take Spellseeker. You never know what you're going to pick up with a Spellseeker. And because we already have Embereth Shieldbreaker, I think Ancient Grudge, and we have Disenchant, I think Ancient Grudge gets a little bit less important. Nissa Vastwood Seer can get us a basic forest, which is decent. It's a green creature, which can be found with Green Sun Zenith, which is also decent. I think I'm going to take Nissa. I kind of like Nissa here. And now what do we take? Kozilek's or Kolaghan's Command is kind of hard to cast, and Fauna Shaman is not super good. I think I'll take Trigon as additional artifact hate. Will we take a Blood Crypt? We're not going to play any of these other cards, so I could see Blood Crypt having some use. Do we want to take Raphellos? No, we're not a Raphellos deck. Do we want to take Copperline Gorge or Mirari's Wake? Mirari's Wake, I don't think we're doing anything with the mana. I'll just take the Copperline Gorge. And, ooh, Daretti. Now that I have this Blood Crypt, Daretti is something that could be played. Plow Under is a nice 5-drop. Mind's Desire, we're not going to play that. Yeah. Alright, I like a lot of the things that this deck is doing. Unfortunately, the Golos did not wheel. Is there a fetch land in this pack? There is not. So we get to look at the other cards in the pack. Okay. There's there's not much for us. There's a Sylvan Library, which is a strong card. There's an Orzhov Signet. Do we want to take Orzhov Signet? Again, fetch lands would definitely be what we want here. I don't like double blue cards at all. Or triple blue. There's a Deranged Hermit. So Orzhov Signet. What does that help us cast? It's not really good with Omnath at all. I think I'm just going to take Sylvan Library here. Sylvan Library is a super strong card, and we want to pick up more fetch lands, which makes it better, so we'll take the Sylvan Library. It's a good 2-drop. So we want to... Mox Diamond would obviously be great for this deck. And what else? Like the Oracle would be good, and Crucible of Worlds, and just some fetch lands. So let's see what we get in this next pack. Are we playing Daretti right now? Misty does not fetch Blood Crypt, which is not good. So probably not. Alright. There are a lot of very powerful cards in this pack. Do we have to take Temple Garden? I don't think we're taking Temple Garden. I think I'm just taking Teferi. It's either Teferi or Leovold, but we only have the one Blood Crypt right now. and we don't exactly want to play black, and Teferi is just awesome. And I think that the Temple Garden could wheel. I think Teferi is the pick here. Teferi is a really strong Planeswalker. There's also Botanical Sanctum, but we'll take the Teferi and pray for some action. Well, there's an Oracle. Gonna take Oracle of Moldiah here. It's better than any card for this deck. Seachrome Coast is good, Miscalc is good, but Oracle's awesome. Love having an Oracle. Gonna take Scalding Tarn. Almost have to take Scalding Tarn. Fetch lands will make this deck very good. Would love a Hallowed Fountain. Maybe it'll wheel, but Scalding Tarn is just so important for this deck. And now that we have Oracle, we certainly need it. So, really would like to pick up one of those white fetch lands. Would make our deck very strong. Our deck actually, this type of deck looks very weird, but it's actually good. All the spells are super, super powerful. We've got 4 pretty much busted Planeswalkers that are 3 mana, and then we've got some really, really strong 4-drops. We can plow their lands. We've got a Force of Will, which I think we're still playing. You can Spellseeker, you can exile to Force of Will, which is another strong consideration. Wow, okay. So, we're not a Channel deck, unfortunately. Channel's great. Woodfall Primus and Riftwing I like a lot. Plateau actually is really good. It can be fetched with Scalding Tarn, and it's the white fetch that we need. So, Plateau will be making our deck, certainly. Yeah, we're not a Channel deck. We're not any of these other cards, Woodfall Primus. Yeah, so we are a Plateau deck. And now we'll take Sylvan Caryatid. Sylvan Caryatid is fixes for all of our colors and can't be killed. That's super strong. And it's really good as a 2-drop. And I think it's better than any of these other things. Allows you to play a turn 3 Omnath. Yeah. I would play Ajani. Ajani is awesome too. But have to take Sylvan Caryatid here. It's just so good. And I think we're getting down to the dregs of the pack. So we could take a Primal Command, which is just a good flexible card. I don't think we'd play it. There's also Nature's Claim out of the graveyard or Spell Pierce. Spellseeker gets Spell Pierce, but then the jig is kind of up. Spellseeker also can get Nature's Claim. All these cards are kind of medium. Less interested in the more expensive Primal. And there's also Pyroclasm, which our Spellseeker could get. I think I'll take Spell Pierce. Not sure if I'm going to play it, but you never know. Do I want to play any of these cards? Prime Speaker Vannifar. Unfortunately, I don't think we're getting there on that card. Haven't really seen that card be that good. Goblin Rabblemaster can be good. It snowballs pretty quickly. Don't see any of these other cards getting in this deck. So I think I will take Goblin Rabblemaster and not plan on playing it. Not sure about that one. Okay, so now we need to decide if we want to take the Blackcleave Cliffs and maybe play this Daretti. I don't know if we need to... Scalding Tarn also gets the Blood Crypt, though. Because otherwise we could take Lightning Helix as just a strong piece of like life gain and removal. I think I'm going to take Lightning Helix here. You can fetch it with Spellseeker. Yeah. And now we'll take... But Leovold is also really, really strong. I guess kind of regret already not taking the Blackcleave Cliffs. This is a very difficult pick. Do we just take the good Botanical Sanctum or Leovold, which is a very, very strong card? Or even Niv Mizzet. Niv Mizzet's also a consideration. I think I'm going to take Leovold. Okay, so Venser. Niv Mizzet was definitely a consideration. If Leovold wasn't there, I think I would have taken the Niv Mizzet. Knight of the Reliquary. That actually is going to make our deck because it's a way to find the colors of mana we don't have. Soulfire Grandmaster we'll put in the sideboard. Let's send that to the sideboard. Ooh, Ajani Vengeant. We'll play that too. And a Pienkir Noir. So our mana is not going to be that great. We took every fetch land we saw. Just about. But we do have a lot of power in our deck, and we'll see what we can do in deck building. Okay, we're going to have a lot of interesting decisions here. Lingering Souls is another very good card if we're going to play the black, which I think we are. Okay, so let's consider this. I also like the fact that Leovold is another card that can be fetched off of Green Sun Zenith. So, kind of like Leovold in the deck. I kind of actually like... Well, I'm not sure yet if we are going to be a Smuggler's Copter, and I feel like Smuggler's Copter and Stonecoil kind of go together. I do like Stonecoil a lot with something like Omnath, where it's just a way to sink a lot of mana. I think Stonecoil might actually make the deck. So this is 26 cards, so we need to cut some of the cards. I'm wondering if we just don't have enough blue cards for Force of Will. Yeah, I think that might be the case. Force of Will is probably going to have to get out. I like Ajani, I like Omnath, I like Oracle. Green Sun Zenith and Elspeth are very good. There's one Embereth Shieldbreaker, which I think works with like the Smuggler's Copter. And there's Knight of Autumn, Knight of Reliquary. Got some Knights in our deck and Knight synergies. So we need to cut 2 cards. What are the 2 cards we need to cut? There's also Lingering Souls, which works well with Smuggler's Copter. Is just a decent value card. As a consideration. Not sure about that. Not sure what we want to do about that. But it is something to consider. We're just so glutted on 3 drops. What are some of our weaker cards? I wonder if Spellseeker is cuttable. It's not really getting all that much. And it's kind of clunky. Yeah, I think we can cut Spellseeker, especially if we're not playing Force of Will. I'm still interested in playing Lingering Souls. It's Lingering Souls is just a very strong card, so it's definitely worth considering. And I like all these cards. I like Fire Eyes, I like the Stonecoil, Smuggler's Copter. This is interesting. Do we want to cut like Knight of the Reliquary? It's good at finding our other colors, but it's just kind of a clunky card in general. So considerations to cut Knight of the Reliquary. I think I want to play the black for Leovold and Daretti. Those are just too good to cut. We've got a decent amount of sources. The Blood Crypt actually coming in kind of clutch here. Strip Mine acts as a spell, so yeah. So what if we well, Knight of the Reliquary and Omnath is also very strong. So maybe Knight is too good to cut. Too big to kill. And what else can we think about cutting? It's very difficult to understand. I think Lingering Souls is going to have to stay in the board for now. We just have too many other good cards. So we're not going to cut these. I think any of these. Daretti, Leovold, Knight. Not going to cut any of those. Nissa, I like. Ajani. Alright. I wonder if it is like Embereth Shieldbreaker. We can side that in against artifacts. I guess we have Knight of the Reliquary as well. I think I'll take out the Embereth Shieldbreaker for now. We just have a Knight of the Reliquary, or Knight of Autumn, which can do a similar thing. And if we need more artifact hate, we've got a lot in the sideboard, so we can look at that. And we'll go with this. And add a bunch of lands. Okay, so let's start with their suggested. They want to add 1 swamp. I don't think we need a swamp. We definitely want forests, plains, 1 island seems about right, and then mountain. Okay, so this is 39. And how are we looking at green sources? Okay, let's start with green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green. Scalding Tarn gets Taiga. 7 green, 8 green. 8 green is pretty good. I kind of like 8 green. Blue, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 blue sources, and then a bunch of other blue sources for, Teferi, Oko, Omnath. I think that's fine. I don't think we need any more islands. Black, we have 1, 2, and then a few other ways to get black. I think we're fine on black. And then white, 1, 2, 3. And then do our fetches get white? The red gets plateau 4. Maybe we need one more white. So I think it's either a white and then red. I think we have enough red sources. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 red is pretty good. So which really do we want? Another green or another white? I think probably just another green. So I'll add one more green source. And because green is kind of the gateway to everything else. And we'll save this as our deck. This deck looks super, super fun to play with. And hopefully it will be a winning deck as well. So I will see you in round 1 with our 5-color Omnath Oko deck. Thanks for watching.